the early effect and we obtained the input characteristics of common base transistor. In this lecture, we will obtain the output characteristics of common base transistor. It is the graphical relation between the output current and the output voltage for various levels of input current. The output characteristics is the graphical relation between the output voltage for various levels of input current. If you see the common base configuration of transistor, you will find IC is the output current and VCB is the output voltage. So output current is IC, the collector current, and output voltage is VCB, and the input current is IE, the emitter current. So we have to plot the graphical relation between the collector current IC, voltage VCB for various levels of emitter current IE. If we consider this NPN transistor as two diodes connected back to back, it will look something like this. This is the first diode and this is the second diode. We want to plot the output characteristics of common base transistor in active region. So the first diode is forward biased and the second diode is reverse biased. Current through the second diode is IC, the collector current, and voltage across this diode is equal to VCB. So the output characteristics is simply the reverse bias characteristics of diode. Very simple. You can see this diode is reverse biased. The current is IC, the same current as in output characteristics, and the voltage across the diode is equal to VCB, the same voltage. So the output characteristics of common base transistor is simply the reverse bias characteristics of PN junction diode. The x-axis will represent VCB and the y-axis will represent IC. IC is measured in milliamps and VCB is measured in volts. The plot is very simple. It will be simply the reverse bias characteristics of diode, but the important thing is variation of the plot for different levels of input current, that is IE. And we already know the collector current IC is equal to alpha times IE plus ICBO, where ICBO is the reverse saturation current or leakage current. ICBO is very small as compared to alpha times IE, so we can neglect ICBO, and IC is nearly equal to alpha times IE. You can also see in this first equation there is no VCB, so this is independent of VCB. Now we can consider the collector current IC nearly equal to the emitter current IE, because alpha is from 0.95 to 0.98, which is nearly equal to 1. So we can say that the collector current is equal to the emitter current. So the output current is affected tremendously by the input current. When input current, the emitter current, is equal to 0 milliamps, then the output current is nearly equal to 0 milliamps. This small current is ICBO, the reverse saturation current. When IE is equal to 0, IC is equal to ICBO. This is when IE is equal to 0 milliamps. When IE is equal to, let's say, 5 milliamps, IE is equal to 5 milliamps, the collector current is nearly equal to 5 milliamps, and the plot will look like this. In the same way, when emitter current IE is equal to 10 milliamps, the collector current is nearly equal to 10 milliamps, and the plot will look like this. So this is the output characteristics of the common base transistor, and this region is called active region, and this region here is called saturation region, and the region below IE equal to 0 milliamps is called cutoff region. Now there is one very important thing that I want to explain you. What will happen if we go on increasing VCB? What will happen if we go on increasing the reverse bias potential? There will be breakdown. We already know in reverse bias condition, if we increase the reverse bias potential, after some time there will be breakdown and the current will increase rapidly. So if we increase VCB, the point will come when there will be breakdown and the current will increase rapidly. But this situation never arises because transistor cannot withstand the high power being dissipated. So this situation will never arise. Now if you invert this plot, you will find it is similar to the reverse bias characteristics of PN junction diode. You can see this plot is similar to the reverse bias characteristics of PN junction diode. The next thing is the cutoff region. In cutoff region, both the diodes are reverse biased and transistor will remain off. When transistor operates in this region, we can consider transistor as open switch or logical off. In saturation region, both the diodes are forward biased and we can consider transistor as closed switch or logical on. You can see collector current IC, it starts to reduce and becomes 0 in saturation region, and this is how we have to plot the output characteristics of common base transistor. If you have any doubt, you may ask in the comment section. I will end this lecture here. See you in the next one. We know the relation between collector current and emitter current, and now we can easily understand the basic amplifying action of transistor. I am using common base configuration for this purpose, and you can see I have not shown the DC biasing in this figure because we are interested in AC response. I am using NPN transistor, and considering the active mode of operation, the emitter current is the leaving current, IE, the emitter current is the leaving current, the base current is the entering current, IB is the entering current, and the collector current, IC, is also the entering current. VI is the input voltage and it is equal to 200 millivolts. RL is the load resistance, and let's say it is equal to 5 kilo ohms, and we need to calculate the output voltage VO. Let's say the input resistance offered by the transistor is Ri and the output resistance offered by the transistor is Ro. In the input characteristics of transistor, you can see slope is large, slope is nearly equal to 90 degree, and slope is equal to 1 by input resistance. So when slope is large, this implies input resistance is small. So the input resistance of transistor is very small, and I will consider a common value of 20 ohms. So Ri is equal to 20 ohms. In the same way, we will analyze the output characteristics of transistor. In the output characteristics, you can see slope is nearly equal to 0, and when slope is low, this implies the output resistance is high. So the output resistance offered by the transistor is very large, and I will consider a common value of 1 mega ohms. The output resistance is equal to 1 mega ohms, or we can say it is equal to 100 kilo ohms. So these are the values of input resistance and output resistance, and now we can easily calculate the output voltage VO. We know input voltage is equal to the input voltage VI is equal to the input current multiplied by the input resistance. Input current is the emitter current, so VI is equal to IE multiplied by the input resistance. This implies the emitter current is equal to the input voltage divided by the input resistance. The input voltage is equal to 200 millivolts. So we have 200 millivolts divided by 20 ohms, and it is equal to 10 milliamps. And we already know the collector current IC is equal to alpha times IE plus ICBO. We can neglect ICBO, so IC is nearly equal to alpha times IE. Alpha is from 0.95 to 0.98. which is nearly equal to 1. So IC is nearly equal to IE. IE is equal to 10 milliamps. This implies the collector current is also equal to 10 milliamps. The collector current is the output current, and now we can calculate the output voltage. The output voltage VO is equal to IC multiplied by the load resistance RL. IC is 10 milliamps and the load resistance is 5 kilo ohms. When you solve this, you will have 50 volts. So this is the value of output voltage, and this is our answer. You can see the input voltage was 200 millivolts and the output voltage is 50 volts. So definitely there is amplification, and now we will calculate the voltage amplification. The voltage amplification, it is denoted by A sub V, and it is equal to the output voltage divided by the input voltage. The output voltage is equal to 50 volts, and the input voltage is equal to 200 millivolts. When you solve this, you will have 50. So the output voltage is 50 times the input voltage, or we can say that the input voltage is amplified 50 times in this configuration. The voltage amplification for common base configuration varies from 50 to 300. This is for the voltage amplification, and in case of current amplification, it is always less than 1, because current amplification is IC divided by IE. IC is equal to alpha times IE. Alpha is from 0.95 to 0.99. This means IC is smaller than IE, and because of this, the amplification of current is always less than 1. So this is all for this lecture. If you have any doubt, you may ask in the comment section, and you now know how the transistor amplifies the input voltage. I will end transistor. In this lecture, I will explain common emitter configuration of transistor. In common emitter configuration, emitter is common to the input side and to the output side. This side is input side and this side is output side. We are using NPN transistor, and this junction here in the last few lectures we completed common base configuration of transistor. In this lecture I will explain common emitter configuration of transistor. In common emitter configuration, emitter is common to the input side and to the output side. This side is input side and this side is output side. We are using NPN transistor, and this junction here is collector base junction, and this junction is emitter base junction. We want to use this transistor as amplifier. We want to use the transistor as amplifier, and in order to amplify the input signal, the transistor must operate in active mode. The transistor must operate in active mode, and in active mode of operation, collector base junction is reverse biased and emitter base junction is forward biased. And in order to reverse bias the collector base junction, I will use the reverse biasing potential VCC. This is N type of material, so I will connect positive terminal to the N type material and negative terminal to the P type material, plus minus, and this reverse biasing potential is VCC. We have to forward bias the emitter base junction, so P type material is connected to the positive terminal and N type material is connected to the negative terminal, plus minus, and the forward biasing potential is VBB. We are using NPN transistor, so the base current is the entering current, IB is the entering current, emitter current IE is the leaving current, and like base current, collector current is also the entering current. We can also represent the common emitter configuration by using the symbol of transistor. I will quickly draw the symbol of transistor. We are using NPN transistor, So the arrow will be like this. Common emitter configuration. So emitter is common to the input and the output side. This is emitter terminal, this is collector terminal, and this is base terminal. In case of common emitter configuration, the input current is IB and the input voltage is VBE. The output current is IC and the output voltage is VCE. This is what we have in common emitter configuration. I will quickly write this down. The input current is IB, the input voltage is VBE, the output current is IC, and the output voltage is VCE. And we already know the emitter current IE is equal to IC plus IB, and the collector current IC is equal to alpha times IE plus ICBO. This is equation number 1 and this is equation number 2. These two relations are true for every transistor connections. Now I am interested to find out how output current varies as a function of input current. The output current is IC and the input current is IB, and I am interested to see how the output current IC varies as the function of input current IB. And for this I will use these two equations. We can write IC equal to alpha times inside the bracket IC plus IB, because IE is equal to IC plus IB plus ICBO. I will open the bracket and we have IC equal to alpha times IC plus alpha times IB plus ICBO, or we can write 1 minus alpha IC equal to alpha IB plus ICBO. I will divide both the sides by 1 minus alpha, and we will have IC equals to alpha 1 minus alpha IB plus 1 divided by 1 minus alpha ICBO. I have divided the left hand side and the right hand side by 1 minus alpha. Now this quantity alpha divided by 1 minus alpha is beta, and if beta plus 1 is there, this means we have alpha divided by 1 minus alpha plus 1. When you solve this, you will have 1 divided by 1 minus alpha. So 1 divided by 1 minus alpha is beta plus 1. This is beta plus 1. So I can write this equation as IC equal to beta times IB plus beta plus 1 ICBO. Now we will see how beta changes with change in alpha. Let's take the first case number 1. In this case, alpha is equal to 0.98, so beta is equal to 0.98 divided by 1 minus 0.98. When you solve this, you will have beta equal to 49. In case 2, alpha is equal to 0.95, so beta is equal to 0.95 divided by 1 minus 0.95, and this is equal to 19. You can see slight change in alpha changes beta significantly. Therefore beta is very sensitive to variations in alpha. Alpha is the amplification factor in common base configuration, and it is less than 1. Alpha is less than 1. Beta is in orders of 100, and the range is from 50 to 400. This is the range of beta. Now we will move back to the equation and I will try to simplify this. Beta plus 1 ICBO is represented as ICEO, the reverse saturation current in common emitter configuration. So we can write IC is equal to beta times IB plus ICEO. ICEO, the reverse saturation current or leakage current, is much smaller than beta times IB, so we can neglect this, and we have IC equal to beta times IB. This implies beta is equal to IC divided by IB. This is what we have. Beta is called the current amplification factor. Beta is current amplification factor, and it is equal to IC divided by IB, and we have already seen it is from 50 to 400. Let's say the input current, that is the base current, is equal to 1 milliamps. Beta, the current amplification factor, is equal to 100. Then we have to calculate IC, the output current. So IC is simply equal to beta times IB. So IC is equal to 100 milliamps. The input current was 1 milliamps and the output current is equal to 100 milliamps. So there is amplification of the input current, and generally transistors work as voltage amplifier, but the common emitter configuration work as the current amplifier. This is very important point. The common emitter configuration works as current amplifier. Generally transistors work as voltage amplifier because of transferred resistor, but common emitter configuration works as current amplifier. There is one more thing that I want to explain. I want to compare the reverse saturation current in common base configuration and in common emitter configuration. This is the note. In case of common base configuration, the output current IC is equal to alpha times IE, the input current, plus ICBO, whereas in case of common emitter configuration, the output current IC is equal to beta times IB, the input current, plus beta plus 1 ICBO. If we compare the two equations, we can see the leakage current is having more contribution in case of common emitter configuration, whereas leakage current is having very less contribution in case of common base configuration, because in this case ICBO is multiplied by beta plus 1. Beta plus 1 is a large quantity because beta is a large quantity, and we are multiplying it with ICBO. So the contribution of leakage current in the output current is more in case of common emitter configuration, and the contribution of leakage current to the output current is less in common base configuration. I think this is clear to you. Let's say beta is equal to 99, so we are multiplying ICBO by 100. I hope this point is clear to you. I will end this lecture here. See you in the next one.